Guys, it's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Stock Talk, series I make whenever I feel it's necessary, where we cover some exciting news and price action in regard to some of the stocks we've been talking about on the channel. Today's case, we're picking up right where we left off yesterday. Unfortunately, the video did cut out, but as promised, I'm here for you guys today. Let's get straight into it. Keep this one short and sweet. As always, we'll go over each topic that we're going to be discussing, then we'll dive into each one individually. In front of us, as always, TradingView, where we will be looking at each of these stocks today on our watch list in this order: Sorrento, Inovio, Novavax, BioNTech, and Vaxart. In terms of news, we only have that one article that I mentioned yesterday to read through with you guys. It is on the longer side, so it kind of worked out that we split this one into two. 17 reasons to be excited about Sorrento Therapeutics and one big reason to be very worried. This is solid. Brian O'Reilly, PhD, on the Motley Fool. All right, so this is a little on the longer side, but if any of you guys are invested in Sorrento, I imagine it's a decent amount of you if you're watching this. I think this is very important news to have, and again, as someone who's invested myself, I enjoyed reading this article, and we'll all read it together, okay? So, again, this is the only piece of news. We'll read this first, we'll look at Sorrento, and then we'll just go down the line here. Keep this more technicals focused, just take a quick look at each of these stocks and let you guys know what I'm thinking, kind of just bird's eye perspective. Okay, so as always, before we do get into it though, I will ask you guys to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it, or if you're invested in any of the stocks we're talking about today. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and of course check out my complete portfolio daily newsletter if you want to know exactly what my trades are and when I make new trades, why I'm making the trades I make, as well as my thoughts on the overall market as a whole. Okay, so a complete breakdown of my entire portfolio that I update every trading day. With every update, I also send an email newsletter explaining my thoughts. So I personally take a lot more pride in the newsletter. Again, you get a daily update from myself if you're interested in that. I have a free trial going. I do it at the end and beginning of each month. So that will go to the end of the weekend. Check it out if you've been thinking about it. If not, no worries. Once again, first link in the description. Let's get into this. Okay, so Sorrento did have kind of a rough day. Down 4% on the day, is pulling back a little bit, but I mean, this really doesn't make much of a dent. It still looks pretty good technically, but of course, we have to cover the fundamentals prior to getting into the technicals, okay? So let's go through this article. Once again, Brian O'Reilly, PhD. I want to validate that. I think I made that joke yesterday. At the beginning of this year, Sorrento Therapeutics was focused on its pain management drug, Resident, oh man, I'm not going to try that one, but you guys can read it for yourself, as well as its dimeric antigen receptor T cell therapy targeting various blood cancers and solid tumors. But the biotech has made major pivot into therapies, vaccines, and the test for novel coronavirus that causes COVID-19. All in, Sorrento's shift into COVID-19 has been quite extensive, including 1. Disclosing that it developed STI-4398, a protein designed to bind and neutralize the novel coronavirus. 2. Collaborating with Smart Pharm Therapeutics to develop an antibody vaccine for COVID-19. 3. Licensing STI-4920 from Mab Pharm. The bispecific COVID-19 treatment binds to the novel coronavirus at 2 different spots in the virus. 4. Starting development of STI-6991, a potential coronavirus vaccine consisting of cells expressing a coronavirus protein. 5. Establishing a collaboration with the University of Texas Medical Branch to perform preclinical tests on its COVID-19 therapeutic candidates. 6. Making its manufacturing facilities available to Cellularity to manufactures its CYNK-001 cell therapy for COVID-19. 7. Partnering with Mount Sinai Health System to Covishield an antibody cocktail treatment for the COVID-19. So that's probably that's what interested me initially, was the Covishield. It's funny reading over these. It's kind of like a flashback because we've been covering Sorrento for so freaking long that all these names and all these events, just I remember covering them months ago. Okay, so 8, releasing preclinical data on STI-1499, an antibody capable of blocking infection of the novel coronavirus in laboratory tests. 9, producing preclinical data on STI-4398, showing the therapeutic can block infection in laboratory experiments. 10, submitting an application for emergency use, EUA, of COVID-Track, a diagnostic test for antibodies against the novel coronavirus, which is still kind of that will be a huge catalyst for Sorrento to the upside if they can get emergency use authorization on COVID-Track. Okay, so moving on, 11, selecting T-Viva-19 as a coronavirus vaccine. In mice, the vaccine included induced antibodies against the novel coronavirus. So again, you guys remember, I don't play Sorrento. I don't like Sorrento as a company personally. And I mean, nothing against them. I think they're just behind in the vaccine race significantly. I'm in it for, again, their treatment methods. So, licensing abivertinib from ACEA Therapeutics, a drug was designed to treat cancer, but could also be used to treat COVID-19 because it can dampen the overreaction of the immune system in patients with COVID-19. 13, licensing technology from Columbia University for saliva-based test for COVID-19, which will be marketed under the name COVID Trace if regulators authorize the test. 14, acquiring Smart Farm. That's a big deal to gain full access to the partnered COVID-19 program. 15, receiving FDA clearance to start a phase 1 trial of STI 1499 in patients with COVID. 16, releasing additional preclinical data on STI 1499 and disclosing a follow-on antibody, STI 2020, which is 50-fold more potent in laboratory tests. STI 2020 was able to rid hamsters of the novel coronavirus after 5 days. Big deal. Again, hamsters, it's very different than humans, but good sign. Striking deal with Viral Clear Pharmaceuticals to test Viral Clear's antiviral with Sorrento's neutralizing antibodies in hamsters. Okay, so again, that was a lot. That was a lot to read through right there. I told you guys this one was gonna drag out a little bit, but if you're invested in Sorrento, this guy. I mean, so once again, shout out to this dude for just accumulating all this information in one place, Brian O'Reilly. Good stuff. And then the one huge reason to be worried, this is equally as important to understand the bearish argument as the bullish argument. Okay, that goes for every stock you ever play with. Always be able to argue the bull and bear case. The one huge reason to be worried, while the breadth of Sorrento's activity is certainly impressive, there's a distinct lack of progression in any individual COVID-19 program. So again, that's a reason that I like Sorrento initially, but that also, again, you're kind of spreading yourself too thin there. But again, I'm in it for specifically right now the treatment angle of it. In a pandemic, time is of the utmost importance. In each segment, therapies, vaccines, and testing, there's certainly room for more than one product, but the opportunity will quickly evaporate as the pandemic winds down. On the treatment front, abivertinib is the furthest along with the phase 2 program, but the the clinical trial hasn't started enrolling patients. According to the latest update on clinicaltrials.gov, STI 1499 was given FDA clearance to start enrolling in a phase 1 study a couple of weeks ago, but the study still isn't enrolling patients either, according to clinicaldrugs.gov. All of the other therapeutics are still in preclinical development, and the COVID-19 opportunity could erode quickly if one or more of the coronavirus vaccines in phase 3 development post data showing their vaccines protect patients. So again, you guys, I've been saying I don't even think about Sorrento's vaccine. I don't even think they have a shot, to be honest. I think they should scrap that personally. I'm not Sorrento's CEO. There's no way that I have this say, but just in my opinion, I think it would be wise, again, stop spreading yourself so thin and work on what you know you have the advantage in, what you have that first mover advantage in, which is the treatment in my mind. On the testing front, there are certainly some opportunities for revenue from the test beyond the initial approval of vaccines, but the timeline isn't clear. Sorrento submitted an EUA application for COVID-Track to the FDA in June, but the company hasn't given an update on the application since then. It's probably not a good sign. The saliva-based COVID Trace offers more potential as a diagnostic test for COVID-19, but Sorrento doesn't appear to have enough data to submit an EUA for the test yet. So this was, I remember when they first came out with, there was that with Yale University. I remember when it was Sorrento and Yale. Sorrento had COVID-Track, obviously, and then Yale came up and they kind of beat them to the punch, so they got first mover advantage. But COVID-Track, from all the data we saw and all the research we saw on COVID-Track, it seemed way more promising than Yale's. Okay, so again, just because they don't have first mover advantage anymore doesn't mean that they can't still find a lucrative kind of alley in COVID-Track. All right, so let's hope we see that as well. That said, that was the article. Let's get into technicals, and then we'll go over all these quickly as well. Okay, so again, Sorrento is still, Sorrento is just on a solid path right here. You can see Sorrento is following a very, just pretty basic channel up at this point. So you can draw two trend lines, right? Sorrento is pretty close. You got to be careful here because it is dancing right on the lower side of this channel right now. Okay, so let's zoom in a little and actually expand this so you guys can see here. So again, since Sorrento popped up in mid-September, it has just been in this up channel. This is an ascending wedge, which does worry me a little bit because ascending wedges a lot of the time are bearish. So let's hope this isn't a bounce. But to be completely honest, if this ascending wedge plays out all the way to kind of where obviously at some point the wedge coincides, then it will bring us up right about to $14 in mid-October. So if Sorrento is able to stay in this channel, and then maybe once it reaches the end of this wedge, it will break down. Again, you guys, with stocks like this, disregard the technicals. The fundamentals are the most important thing. And technicals, I do believe the technicals solely, without any news, could take Sorrento to the $14 region, because that's what I've been expecting to happen for a long time, just because when you see such a sharp move up and sharp move down, you'll probably see a sharp bounce as well. So again, Sorrento bottomed out at $6. To get to 14, that would over 2x from the bottom. So that's a large bounce, but again, Sorrento saw a crazy rally up and a crazy crash down. So it wouldn't surprise me to see a significant bounce as well. But again, if this wedge plays out, which I have zero reason to disbelieve unless it breaks below this, which would be bearish. You guys keep in mind that it's very close to breaking below this line of support here on this uptrend right now. So keep that in mind, you guys. That could completely reverse trend for Sorrento, but I don't see a reason for that to happen because all the fundamental data for Sorrento is solid, and again, it still has gone up a lot over the course of this year. But I personally still think that there's potential, but also that relies. I mean, the performance of the sector as a whole, I've been saying this the whole time, you guys. A lot of times, not necessarily right now, it's actually been pretty uncorrelated. You can see Moderna down like 1% today, which isn't too bad, to be honest. Sorrento down 4%. Inovio actually up a little bit today, and BioNTech up a lot today. Vaxart up as well. So this sector is actually not showing much correlation to the other players within the sector, which is pretty interesting, but that makes me think that a lot of the capital within the sector is just kind of flowing throughout this sector, which is kind of weird, but that does happen sometimes. You see that in the EV sector a lot as well. So that's Sorrento, you guys. Ultimately, my price target for Sorrento is still $14 when that'll happen. Actually, you know what, you guys, to be completely honest, I will need to see it happen over the course of the next few weeks to warrant a bounce. If it starts going down again, if it breaks this line and starts going down, then that would make me pretty bearish technically on Sorrento in the short to even medium term, maybe. Okay, so that's my honest opinion. We'll see what happens there. I'll keep you guys posted. Inovio. So Inovio did bounce a little bit from those lows after that absolutely devastating news that they released in regard to their trials being halted. So they did bounce a little bit. Again, they bottomed out at about $10. They're currently at $11.75. So that's not bad considering they how crashed, like from $10 to $12. That's a 20% gain. It's 20% bounce up, but they're going sideways right now, you guys. I just can't be bullish on Inovio right now just because they don't have the fundamentals on their side. They were talking about needing funding just to continue their trials, and it's not like they don't have the fast track. They didn't get money from the government. That would be their one saving grace if they do manage to get some funding directly from the government, which, especially now that so much money is running out and we don't have a new stimulus package yet, seems very unlikely to me. And again, Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, they're all AstraZeneca, sorry, I was trying to think of the fourth one. They're all already in phase 3s. There's not much of a reason to just start dumping more money into these smaller companies that are significantly behind. And again, you guys, I think Inovio, say 5-10 years from now, if you have a very long-term time horizon, could be a good play because we've studied them for a long time. They have a lot of promising things in their pipeline that aren't related to COVID. But short-term, I'm not going to say very bearish, but I'm for sure not bullish on Inovio. Novavax down a little bit today, so they're still kind of following. Novavax is still in a downtrend. Like it's following this pretty closely. So that's a basic downtrend right there that it's been following for a while. I mean, this is a better thing to do right here. So we'll just do that. That's pretty solid. If Novavax can break above this, which wouldn't be too hard for Novavax. So Novavax is currently at about $105. If Novavax could break out of this kind of shorter term downtrend and close above, say, $115, then I believe we could see another pop in Novavax. But again, you guys, as I've been saying for a while, the closer we get to an effective vaccine, and even though Moderna, who's, again, I feel in the lead, I'm biased towards Moderna. All of you guys should know that at this point. I think they're in the lead, and even they said they're probably not going to get to mass market until 2021, which, again, you guys, it's completely understandable to think that we could just spit out a vaccine just like that. It's irrational. So yeah, you guys, the closer we get to an effective vaccine, I think the more people are going to realize that this is going to take a lot longer than everyone expected, even for the people in the very lead, even for the people in phase 3s right now. So it just makes smaller players like this that much more speculative and that much more kind of non-appealing. But again, Novavax, they did sign that deal with India that we covered a couple weeks back now, which is promising. So keep in mind, you guys, similar to Sorrento, how they lost to Yale in the testing kits. Just because you don't have first mover advantage, that doesn't mean that last mover advantage is an absolute killer. They can still find ways to profit if they do manage to stumble upon an effective vaccine. So Novavax, again, it will have to break above 115. I would say it'll have to close the daily candle above 115 to guarantee, or to even signal that it is in another uptrend. But Novavax, significantly smaller, still a pretty solid market cap. So $6.5 billion. Keep in mind, you guys, Novavax is still up probably like I don't even know at this point. So Novavax is up like 500,000% on the year still, probably like closer to 500 now. So Novavax is still up significantly on the year, and it still is kind of a sketchy play in my mind. But I mean, it's very volatile, so this sector is good for trade. If you guys are day traders, then this is a solid sector to watch. So BioNTech is looking actually really, really solid right now. Okay, so BioNTech is seeing is almost seeing a breakout right now. So BioNTech, just looking at this chart, again, I don't really have to look at this all that much, but BioNTech is definitely seeing a nice move up right now. That's a very healthy looking chart, just because just looking at charts all the time, you know what a healthy chart looks like, and this pattern right here looks very healthy. It's not going parabolic, it's just climbing steadily. You can see a bunch of green candles closing consecutively, so that's good. Short term, if you guys want to trade BioNTech, I would look for a move. I think it's a pretty clean move from where it's at right now, $73 to like $76. So I mean, that's a solid 5 to 6% move up if you guys want to trade it short term. But I think it's very likely, just because we topped out right here. You see a candle hit over here again. So this is a ceiling for BioNTech in the past. If it can break above this, I'm very bullish that we get up to this area where we spent a lot of time on BioNTech, around like the $85 region. Okay, so BioNTech is looking like a pretty solid trade right now. Again, they're with Pfizer. They've partnered with Pfizer for this vaccine. And again, Pfizer is one of the 4 in phase 3s right now. So looking pretty promising there. Again, these are my 2 price targets right now. Short term, it's like $76. Once we hit there, it wouldn't surprise me to see a little move now. But if we can break above that, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see a move all the way up to 85. Okay, so definitely trade-worthy potential there. Let's move on to Vaxart and close it out with Vaxart. Vaxart up 3% today. Again, you guys, Vaxart looks on, if you just look at it like this, which I feel like is the most important, like disregard that completely, to be honest. Vaxart looks just not good. Vaxart looks like you're seeing lowering highs, you're seeing lowering lows. What I expect to see from here, to be honest, in Vaxart is just, I mean, he's like high, low, high. I feel like we're just gonna come down and set a new low. And unfortunately, you guys, I'm sorry if you're trading Vaxart. Actually, we'll go right here back to April. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Vaxart completely come back down and set, because that would be a slightly lower low, which would make sense, to this area where it first moved up in late April of this year. Okay, so $4, that is still a significant move down. Man, you guys. So again, this just isn't looking good. If we look on the shorter term, again, we're still on 4 hours. Like, you can see Vaxart was in like a short-term downtrend. It did just break out of this, so we might see a little bounce up. But ultimately, I would expect personally, unless we get some great news from Vaxart, which again, you guys, we've seen in the sector before. So unless we see some great news, which I don't feel like is likely, but it is possible, I'm not going to disregard it completely. I think Vaxart will ultimately come to where it gapped up initially, or where it just hit that first high back in April of this year, which would bring it down to $4.20. All right, so that is that, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, sorry you guys, the video cut out yesterday, but got it all fixed. The recording software is good to go, and hopefully that doesn't happen again. So hopefully you guys appreciate this. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking of these stocks right now. Let me know what you guys are thinking of this sector and what's going to go down in this sector during elections, if we get a stimulus or not. Like, again, always love learning from you guys. Always love talking shop with you guys. So catch you downstairs. Till next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.